Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Blake and Blake Sports, or the Sports Web. We're here live, whatever you want to call it, here live on Central Avenue for Fergs, 1320 Central Avenue in St. Pete. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell, and special guest co-host fan here, and also into broadcasting. Tell the people out there on Bucks Report what your name is and what we were talking about off air, because I thought it was definitely a great, passionate conversation. What we say here on the Sports Web: bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Will you shut up? Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I want to thank you for bringing me in on this show. My name is Doc Torrey. I watch sports for the business. I do business development, so watching sports for the business side is important to me.
Right.
One of the things that I peeked in and saw that Magic was on TV crying again about something he couldn't do or had to do, and I just was thinking, like, historically, every time Magic come on TV crying, something ain't right. Like,
that's something that isn't right, and you asked this question, and what was that question you asked? Did LeBron get him fired? And I will emphatically say LeBron James, as great of a player as he is,
great person,
love him.
Great person.
Great
he
player.
is a coach killer. He kills every coach.
Yeah.
He gets every coach fired. He definitely got Magic Johnson fired. I mean, what are your thoughts about it? Because we were talking about it off air. It was a great conversation.
Well, here's the thing. I look at just history, and when you look at the Lakers and everything that they've tried to accomplish, they put a lot of money to bring this guy here. They got a star-studded team. I mean, hell, it's Hollywood on the court right there. and you still can't get to the playoffs.
Well, I knew once LeBron, I called this my cousin. If he was here, he'll tell you, like, yeah, you was right. I called this from together. I said, LeBron James will go to the Lakers. Why is that? I said, because this man is thinking about doing movies.
And by the way,
he's doing Space Jam too.
He's making the abomination of Space Jam 2.
Wow.
There's things that you cannot do over again. Space Jam.
Let me tell you a little bit more about Space Jam 2.
Oh, please, tell me.
LeBron James is supposed to be Bugs Bunny's savior because Bugs Bunny went into relapse on an alcohol problem. It's about to get this bad.
Are you serious?
Man, he always
that serious?
He always trying to save
Oh,
stuff.
man.
He thought he was going to save the Lakers. And he needs saving because his ass ain't in the playoffs.
Not one, not two, not three, not four.
Yes.
We're live on Blake and Blake Sports, the Sports Web, the evolution of sports talk television. So you said that you were a broadcasting major. I mean, go ahead and talk about yourself a
Well, I
little bit.
wasn't in a major. I'm a doctor. I'm a licensed psychologist.
Don't downplay yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Promote self-promotion here.
I'm a guest, so I gotta go low to go high.
no.
You know. But no, I'm a licensed psychologist. You know, in 15 minutes I can psychological analyze you and see what's wrong. But what's right is the fact of this. I went into
Must be an icebreaker at.
Well, you know what it is though. I was always interested in radio, and so I got a chance to do my own show at Radio 1 earlier on. Believe it or not, and I got the mouth. Sometimes I can be a little Richard Pryor, and they had me on a Christian station talking about business development. And
So you're going like the Ladies Man. I don't know if you've ever seen the Ladies Man movie, and he's trying to interview, and then he gets hired at the Christian station, and then basically he's kicked off because but they don't know about him, and then he goes on air and says all this nonsense, and then gets kicked off. So you're in that same type of situation.
Yeah, but I walked away gracefully though. I had a good run though. I had a good 4-year run. I took it on the road because I was doing a lot of business development in Miami. And so I got a chance to do, reporting from live from Miami, live from Fort Lauderdale. You know, everywhere I travel for my business, I took my fans with me. And we talked about, you know what, before there was a Gordon Ramsay in cooking. I was like the Gordon Ramsay of business. I kick your ass with your business. So I ain't had no TV camera following me at the time.
Right, okay.
But I talk rough on that mic, you know what I'm saying?
And I got you. We're here live on Bucks Report, 61,000 following on Facebook, on the Sports Web, the evolution of sports talk television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell. And go ahead and introduce yourself again to the audience. What's your name again?
Oh, I'm Doc Torrey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Life-
All right.
yeah.
So you like basketball. This is a Bucks Report site. So a lot of fans out there, big time Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, big time NFL fans. Are you an NFL football fan?
he's
Are
from
you
Detroit, so you're
are you a Lions fan?
Detroit. You know what? I've been here for 4 years. I
Okay.
moved.
So are you a Bucks fan now?
I like the Bucks though.
Oh, you like the
That's what
Bucks?
I'm
Okay.
talking
about. I like the Bucks.
All right. So she likes the Bucks. All right. So what do you think about the coaching change with Bruce Arians here and Jameis Winston? A lot of people, he's controversial subject around here. Some people like him. A lot of people don't like him. Well, what are your thoughts on Winston and Arians being the new coach of the Bucks?
Well, you know what? I'm glad that there's change because sometimes change can be good, but a lot of times, change will allow you to do what's best for the group, and you might not feel it, but it's best for the group. But as far as the Bucks, though, I think that we really needed to. That's an expensive ass stadium. We need to bring some more wins to the game so we can really get Tampa Bay where they need
I'm a
to
season
be.
ticket holder. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So I wonder, I love the environment being in there, but it ain't cool feeling like you finna lose. And I'm so damn glad they got rid of that kicker.
And
Florida State, he couldn't kick shit,
Roberto
Oh, my
Aguayo.
God.
Roberto Aguayo. Yeah.
Representing
Yes.
most accurate NCAA kicker.
It's tough.
Couldn't get out of his own way.
Second
Florida
round.
State, though.
Didn't get out of his
Yeah.
own way.
Well, I mean, you look at the pick at the time when Jason Light made it and
I get
traded
it.
up. There was controversy about it, but one of the most accurate kickers.
And he traded up for him.
Yeah, he traded up for him in the
Traded up for
second
him.
round. And then he got to the NFL and it didn't necessarily work out. And now they drafted a 5th round kicker, so we'll see if that works
And
out.
he's lighting it up.
Well, he is lighting
He's
it up,
lighting
but
it up.
well, it's
Let's see
OTAs.
He's lighting it
It's
up.
OTAs. There's no game situation. but it's still OTAs. You're not in a game
Aguayo
situation.
was missing in practice.
It's OTAs. So you're losing your mind over here. We're losing our mind here
You
live
ever
at
see him do his
first.
calculations in the wind like he really gonna kick that shit? Like, what are you doing, bro?
He licked his finger.
And it ain't raining. So what we doing?
Yeah.
It ain't raining.
Yeah, all right. So we've been predicting record. I say 10-6. What do you say?
You know what? I wouldn't give him 10 though.
Well, not 10.
So you saying 9?
You would or you
I
wouldn't?
say 8 and 9. 8 and 9. Rico.
8 and 9. So she's saying 8 and 8.
500. Okay.
Yeah.
No, they gotta get the caboose going.
I got you. I got you.
Something to work towards.
Yeah.
Somebody
that's right.
says, I love this lady. She's hilarious. Richard,
right.
that's what we bring
She's in
here.
the area. She might be
That's
all
right.
over.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm here.
And again, we're here live here on Saturdays on Blake and Blake Sports on the Sports Web, the evolution of
Every
sports talk
Saturday.
television. Here live at Ferg's 1320 Central Avenue. And Deontay says LeBron didn't get Magic Johnson fired. Like the Bucks, the Lakers organization is a dumpster fire. They missed the playoffs for 5 years straight before he arrived, but there were big-time expectations. And look, when you're demanding a superstar like Anthony Davis and you don't make that trade, how can those players look into your eye when basically they know that they don't want you there? There's
I'll
no.
on that one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, jump on it.
I said Magic said earlier, I don't know if everybody remembers, he said, if I don't get Anthony Davis here before the trade deadline, I've failed.
Wow.
Right. I mean, well, the other guys are not any good anymore, so why should we play for him?
I knew
Lonzo Ball, no good. Brandon Ingram,
I
no
didn't
good.
say that. When the ball was in, they were winning. They were 4th
Sure.
in the West.
Sure.
They
The
should
ball
have
was
put in. They should
A
have
lot
put
of
in his
people don't
daddy
real-
with their mouth.
Yeah, but I knew once Magic said that, I was like, oh, you done screwed up. Because there's no guaranteed you're getting AD. Because the Pelicans they're not pressed to let go of AD, knowing you got him for 2018 and 2019. They're not pressed to get rid of him. I said, now that you got the first pick too, you're really not pressed to get rid of him. I said, but I don't know about the NBA. I like when they used to pick the balls out of the little thing. Now that they just give you the card,
I
so
don't
it lets me
trust it.
believe it's almost like, I know a lot of fans like to call it rigged, but
It is rigged.
It is.
It's just not rigged for the Knicks fans. That's what it is.
I like to see you pick the ball
Yeah.
from there, so I know that you picked it from there, rather than do it off camera and just give you cards where you pick at. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because the Lakers now have the 4th pick in the draft.
Sure.
So now that all sets up with Zion Williams going one.
Yeah.
I said AD already wants out. He's made it clear he wants out. So are you going to be stupid in New England and do like what Cleveland did with LeBron the first time when he told you he was not re-signing, but you kept him there and didn't get nothing for him when he went into free
I think
agency?
Anthony Davis stays with the Pelicans, and I'll tell you why. 2 words: Zion Williamson. If you can
Well,
get,
it's not his choice if he's under contract.
well, right, that's what I'm saying. But a lot of people say, well, because now Anthony Davis wants out. This is a garbage organization. I think Griffin has come in. He has a plan. And, of course, we're talking about the lottery, which happened, and the Pelicans won, I think, to the chagrin of New York Knicks fans because they all thought, we're going to get the number one pick for Zion Williamson. Right.
He was upset about
he was definitely. So comment about this, Doctor. Comment about this, and then I got another question for you, and we're live here on Bucks Report. Join our 61,000 following here live on Facebook on different platforms today, not only 2 Facebook sites, but also YouTube and Periscope on Twitter. So we're everywhere and anywhere, and of course we're live at Ferg's every Saturday, and of course Buccaneer watch parties coming up during the regular season for the road games. Answer this. The Pelicans win the lottery. Most likely they're going to draft Zion Williamson. Do you think there can be something worked out with Anthony Davis where he basically will stay there?
They still lose.
I think they win. I think they win with both of those players. How can you lose?
It's a point guard league.
Well, you got Drew Holiday. You could get a point guard. You could get a point guard. You could get a point guard in free agency.
Who?
Well, Mike Conley supposedly could be out there.
Mike Conley ain't going
But you know what? They trying to build an organization off of a budget that works for them. But when you look at from a business perspective, right?
Sure.
You gotta come hard if you gonna get the championship against the the Warriors.
Right.
The Warriors, they don't even try to do it.
They're a team. They're a team that's
cohesive.
built right. People say, oh, well, they lost Kevin Durant. They're done. No, they're not, because they got Stephon Curry and they got Klay Thompson.
They never needed Kevin Durant. They never needed KD.
Let me jump in here. I can't Let me jump in this one. All those players were drafted to that team before I start. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the original Splash
They won
Brothers.
73 games.
They were drafted to that team.
Right.
Now, before I start talking about Durant, let me get that out.
Yeah.
Durant is all of a sudden this superstar Hall of Fame player.
I don't see it.
Funny how that happens after he gets to a team that already been to 2 NBA championships.
Well, he left a selfish player in Westbrook who's been able to do nothing ever since he left.
You know what? At first, I thought Westbrook was being emotional about it, right?
Right.
But I see how Durant cut now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You don't stay around for much. You know what I'm saying? You get your couple rings, kiss your mom in front of the TV screen, and then after that, you ready to move on. But they never needed you in the first place. So
no, they did not.
They never needed him, and they don't need him.
And that showed in the last game.
Yes.
Didn't need him to close out Houston. Didn't need him to go up 2-0 on Portland. Didn't need him.
By the way, that has not been a good series, and neither has the Milwaukee and Toronto series, which, by the way, Milwaukee is up 2-0, so it's more than likely Milwaukee and Golden State. And just to update the race score right now, 1-0 Yankees. Much of the same last week on Mother's Day, where Tanaka was just baffling race hitters. Snell not getting enough run support, so we'll update you here live on the Sports Web. Blake and Blake Sports. Want to read some of these text messages. So, Peter, do you guys think we make the playoffs, or do you think we will miss out? I'm calling
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. I think they make the playoffs. I'm optimistic. I mean, you think they're going to miss out on it? 8-8, 9-7. Do you think they miss the Bucks, Tampa Bay Bucks?
I think the Bucks gonna give you a good show. They gonna make you feel good at the beginning of the year.
Right.
But I also think they gonna have to build that. To me, in order to win, you got to build great team cohesiveness.
Right.
If we don't get rid of the people with the attitudes and the chips on their shoulder, you're never gonna build an effective team. So winning is about finding the team that you can work with that want to win with you, no matter what you look like, how you act. Whether you bitch out or not, we still team. You gonna still be my boy, whether I don't like you or not. And I think the Bucks as a whole need to get over that and play real football so we can fill them stadiums and make some money in Tampa Bay.
And I think that attitude is echoed by a lot of Bucks fans here, and that's why it's a great thing where Bruce Arians basically laying down the law to Vernon Hargraves. It's all about accountability. You have to have it, and this team the last couple years with the coaching staff has not had it. Now they have it. So somebody says here, this is a great question, and then we'll get you on here because this has been a great show. Thanks a lot for joining us here, Doctor.
I love them.
Definitely friend us and definitely tune in every night for the Sports Web, The Evolution. Yep, we can. She's a psychologist. What's her opinion on the mental state of GMAC? Now, GMAC, somewhat sensitive at this point with the situation not showing up to OTAs. A lot of people say he has the right to do that because Bruce Arians called him out. Right, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. What's your thing on Gerald McCoy? Go ahead and analyze him a little bit.
Well, think about this. You know, when you are a sports figure, there's a lot of things that go to it. We look to people to be our heroes, but our heroes need to be in the classrooms, in our homes,
Preach it.
not on the doggone field. You know what I mean? And so we forget people are human.
Right.
We forget that
She sound like
we
me.
all alive. I mean, psychologically though, we forget that people is human. I mean,
Forget the money.
forget the money with that human. I mean, hell, Jameson had a whole bunch of human ass moments when he just did stupid stuff.
Right.
But we let him be the golden boy until he just couldn't be the golden boy no more.
Right.
But I think the thing about McCoy is this: you gotta see psychologically. You got to see people where they're at and where they're from. And if you're not willing to be there for them,
I don't think
and
he
go
wants
the
to be
extra
here.
mile.
I don't think he wants. I honestly, with his rant on Instagram, and I know me and you kind of disagree about it. You say it wasn't a good optic.
Yeah.
He had a right to do it. I don't think the man wants to be here. He's been here for 9 years. The coach is calling him out. I think that he feels somewhat entitled. He's a good player. Is he a great player? And I also think the organization, as we've talked about before,
They
doesn't want to
dropped
pay
the
him.
ball.
Doesn't want to pay him the $13
They
million.
dropped the ball,
Yeah.
and it's not even the
Yeah.
money.
Right.
It's communication. This should have been dealt with months ago. If you knew the money was an issue, you should have talked to him months ago about this.
Right.
And said, Seb, you left us in limbo, like you said, we left us in limbo.
Yeah.
And it's in Gerald's best interest to not show up. Why should he get hurt at a meaningless practice
Yeah.
and jeopardize money? At the end of the day, this is what this is all about. It's about money on his end and that end. That's $13 million. More than any of us got right here, I can tell you that. That's $13 million that we're talking about.
That's right.
And I said it's in his best interest to stay and do his own thing because he obviously is in shape. He's
Yeah.
lost weight.
Yeah, he
went
look good.
vegan.
He look good.
So-
I can't go vegan, by the way. I can't do
Yeah,
it.
either
He
can
look
I
good.
love meat too much.
Yeah, me too. I love chicken.
Yeah.
I love
So you
chicken
just don't
wings.
love veggies.
No, I don't, and I don't like veggies in my eggs.
like
If you're
veggies.
trying to make vegetables
and
and
your eggs?
no,
What?
why
you
would
want
you?
ham and
Would you? Yeah, why would you ruin a good thing like veggies? You don't.
That's not eggs,
You don't
that's a
put
pork chop with eggs.
You don't put veggies on tacos. You don't put veggies in breakfast. You don't ruin something that's perfectly fine
Bring
with
nonsense, just don't bring no veggies.
Just don't bring any veggies. Go ahead. So we get one more question here, and then we'll get
We
you
gotta
off.
bring you a smoothie, a green one.
I'm
I'm concerned about you.
look, I'm healthy. I'm just.
This man a smoothie.
Look, I
We'll
was
be back. We
forced
gotta go to smoothie
when
with
I
this
was
one.
younger. I was forced to eat peas and corn, and
Oh, that's where it
I
comes
can eat
from?
spinach. I can eat spinach and green beans, but Brussels sprouts, I'm not eating
You're
it.
out of that?
I'm not eating it.
That's
I'm not
why
eating
you
broccoli.
So healthy. Now look, you got all your hair, you got
You
beard,
do.
you look
You
good.
do.
How
Thank
many
you.
people your age don't?
Thank you.
That's because you did the thing earlier.
I
with eating
did.
your vegetables.
Well, I don't know. I think it's because of eating the meat and taking protein and all. So I definitely think that's what it's from, and a good gym routine being 40 years old. All right, let's see here. I'm a big-time Lakers fan. I don't believe they will get Anthony Davis. I think there's a better shot at Kyrie Irving playing with the Lakers and also.
Oh, let me talk about that.
All right, go ahead.
I didn't touch on that one.
All right.
I said Kyrie Irving got exposed on 2K.
Oh, did he?
Stupid.
Did he?
Yeah, people that were logged onto his and know that's his profile, he put himself in a Lakers uniform.
Oh, I definitely think he
He put
follows.
himself in the Lakers uniform.
I think he does. I think he's going to be a Laker, and I think he'll
And
join
for all
LeBron.
you fans, after this stream is over, I'm going to tag you in the stream where you can see Kyrie put himself in Lakers colors. So he's chasing LeBron already. He said he can't win without LeBron. He needs his big brother LeBron.
Right.
And Kyrie even admitted that he understands LeBron's struggle now.
Everybody can't be Michael Jordan. Not that I'm saying
Yeah,
LeBron
they won't
is.
be Michael Jordan.
Right, but you have to be a Scottie Pippen or a Horace Grant, and I think Kyrie
Batman
Irving.
or a Robin.
Right,
So
exactly.
he done learned his lesson because he talked a lot of stuff.
He did.
He
Yes.
talked a lot of stuff.
He thought he was the stud until you went to a team and thought you was the stud when you found out you was a Robin. You're not a Batman. You
Hey,
a Robin.
Don't he remind you of that person that you get into an argument with him and you mad at the person, then you still mad, but they not mad no more.
No, they're not mad
so I'm
anymore.
mad at LeBron for Kyrie,
Right.
and he ain't mad no more.
Well, he's the guy that thinks the Earth is flat, and you can't convince him. I mean, let's not go into that. All right, so.
He just found out it's round, Peter.
Right. All right. So, basketball question here: do you think the Lakers get Anthony Davis?
That's
You
tough.
know what?
I don't
Do
know what
that-
their relationship is. him and
Nah.
LeBron.
I don't
I'm
either.
really not clear on that.
And I don't think the Pelicans are going to give him because look, they got Zion Williamson. They can
But
go
that
ahead.
ain't
And,
LeBron though.
right.
There's
But
no
you-
telling if Zion does what he does in the NBA
But
and the college, like he did
do
in
the
college.
Pelicans really want to trade him to the Lakers and be that team that possibly gives the Lakers an opportunity to win a championship.
They're still not going to win no champion.
They're not. Even with Zion. They're not going to win nothing.
No, they're not.
That's why I brought up the LeBron.
I think it's more of an opportunity for the Pelicans with Zion and Anthony Davis to put something around him to be more winners than the Lakers. Because I think LeBron James is on the decline.
Yeah,
right?
I think so too. I think so
okay.
too.
You know, all right, thank you.
I don't think they can. Don't even ask me if I think they can win the championship. Ask me if I think they can get to the playoffs next year.
You talking about Lakers?
Yeah.
I think there's a big time question mark. They will go hard and heavy in free agency. So to everybody out there, who you are, once again, you've been live on Box Report on the Sports Web and Blake Sports.
Doc Torrey.
All right, there you go. Dr. Torrey here, live at Berks. Doctor is in the house. Definitely come and join us again. Thanks a lot for joining us here on Box Report, BoxReport.com. Talking NBA, talking about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers around the NFL, and just give you an update again. It is 1-0 Yankees over the Tampa Bay Rays. So again, thanks a lot for coming on, and definitely come on and go and like us at the BoxReport.com on Facebook.
All right, thank you. My drink is calling me.
Absolutely. There you go. Have fun with that. Be safe, and that's what you get here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. I guess we're going to call this, I don't know, Sports Web, Bucks, Blake and Blake Sports, whatever it is. It's all the same here. Fan interaction live every Saturday, and I cannot wait. I got to ask you something, Doctor, real quick. We're going to have NFL watch parties for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. Are you going to be coming out and joining us?
You get my number, and she going to make it happen. Whatever you want me to do, I'm with it. I like you guys.
I like you too. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. All right, there you go. Yep. Thanks a lot, Doc. Appreciate it. So there you go. Just another fan that we make here, joining our 61,000 following on Box Report on Facebook.
Right,
yeah,
she fits right in.
She does fit right in, and this is what you picture. This is what Mark Ferguson gives us the opportunity every Saturday to be here at a bar, talking with sports fans about what they want to talk about, whether it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, around the NFL, NBA.
Whatever.
Yes, whatever is absolutely on the table.
Here. We'll talk about whatever.
Yes, all right. So let's read some more comments here, and then we'll talk about the NFL with Patrick Peterson and what you think, and Dayon Buchanan's comments, which are interesting to say the least, but not really.
What did he say?
Well, he was defending Patrick Peterson. I mean,
they're close.
Yes,
yes. I don't expect
yes.
less.
What's your guys' prediction on wins this year? That has been a popular topic. I'll say again, 10-6.
It's around 500.
What's your prediction? 8-8?
Yeah, around that time.
8-8. Okay.
8-9-10. That's
8-9-10.
around
Okay.
that area. Yeah.
Joshua. Let me see if I can get it right. Omar Reggie. Hello, sportsman. Omar Reggie. Raji or Reggie? I thought it was Reggie. All right, whatever. Thanks a lot. One of our new interns here on Box Report knocked it out of the park with some articles on the offensive line, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Offensive line, running game. Also had some interesting article about Carl Nassib, who we'll talk about also. Michael says Yankees stink. Yankees stink. I am a Boston Red Sox fan. I hope the Rays comes back. I hope the Rays come back, win this game. I can't stand the Yankees. I hate the Yankees as much as I do. The Michigan Wolverines, again, Ohio State guy is Michael tuning. I would love for the state of New York just to get wiped off the map. Wow. Same thing goes with Michigan. Any comments on that?
He said he hopes Ohio State gets wiped off the map.
Yeah, he did. That's strong, man. You're coming strong to the mic. We love it here.
Well, Ohio State finds a way to hang around since that weak conference they're in.
Yes.
Michigan just seems like they're waiting to get a great quarterback to go over the top.
Yeah. No, absolutely. In Ohio State, they lost their quarterback in Haskins, 50 touchdowns. So we'll do some more, but we'll definitely be talking about college football when we're out here on Saturdays, definitely. So you keep on tuning in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Cabell. Mike says if things stay sour in Tampa Bay after a year or two, who's the first to go? Jameis or Bruce Arians? Keep in mind, Jameis is already on his third coach. 21-33 is a starter with as much significance and value as the quarterback position has. You don't want to be setting the example for mediocrity. Great question to look inside, because I don't have a crystal ball, but I would definitely expect and we are definitely going to get some raffle tickets because we're giving away Yankees and Rays tickets today, as we'll get the lovely Sarah on here from Fergs joining us on the Sports Web. Yeah, go ahead. Come on in here.
Shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. She's never gotten on camera before, but
we got
no.
Nice
Come down and sit next to me here.
All these people are watching. You'll have some fans after this.
Yes, absolutely. There you go. So you're getting the mic there, and I got to ask you, and this is Sarah, one of the great bartenders here live at Ferg's, 1320 Central Avenue here on Central Avenue in St. Pete. Tell me, are you a big-time sports fan?
Nope.
You're not a big-time sports fan at all?
Nope.
See, we got work to do, okay? Because as I always say, God sent me here for a purpose, and that was especially to corrupt every
My
female.
mother told me not to lie, so I didn't want to lie.
Well, that's
So
good.
we have to talk
That's
to
good.
your
Well,
boyfriend.
could you see yourself being a Bucks fan eventually?
Sure.
Okay, so what we're gonna do here, and again, we're live here at Ferg's on the Sports Web. We're gonna draw a ticket, and whoever gets this ticket will win some Rays and Yankees tickets. Of course, just to update the score right now, the Rays are losing to the Yankees 1-0. So, are we gonna pick it here?
I do like surfing and board sports and skateboarding. That counts.
Yeah, absolutely.
That does
We're not picking it. Are you gonna pick it?
Yes.
Okay, she's gonna pick it.
Make it legit.
And then whoever she picks, they have to come on camera and talk. All right,
Okay,
there you go.
Just so y'all know, I'm not
Drum roll.
cheating. I choose this one.
What do we got?
You want me to read the number out?
Yes, read the number out.
It is 694-836.
Okay. 6-6. Okay, so who has that ticket?
Oh, I don't know. Are you asking me?
I'm asking you. We have
Why would I know?
There's no name on it?
No.
Oh,
There's
that's a
no name.
problem. We have to find who has that ticket.
None of them have names.
Yeah, we
I
gotta.
think Maddie gave them the wrong end.
I think he did too.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
That's
Uh-oh.
so great.
You gotta love this live TV here. So somebody, I tell you what, whoever doesn't have the ticket or whoever wants to get on the camera, I'm gonna get them to sing something because the last person.
Why don't you just look at read it
Okay.
for the intercom thing?
Yeah, read it on the intercom, and
I'll
then
see if anyone comes
tell
up
them
here.
to come out here.
All right.
All right.
I love Maddie for that.
There you go. Good stuff. And she does like skateboarding and surfing and stuff like that. What
Surfboard.
else? Anything else?
X Games stuff?
Tequila.
Oh, Lord. She's
Good
a
stuff.
bartender.
She's a bartender here
I
live
don't
at Ferg's.
expect
Come and
less.
see her.
I'm gonna go find the right person.
Love it. All right. Sounds good.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you later. All right. So there you go here. Somebody says, I won. No, you did not because
Yes,
you're
I won.
not here. Yeah, she's going to go read that on the intercom system here. Like I said, it's a live show. Nothing's perfect about this at all. The one thing that's perfect is the platform. Bucks Report, bucksreport.com for all your great Bucks content. Great writers, and just having great fans today, getting kids on, getting people that are wrestling fans. That lady who is a doctor loves the NBA. I mean, this is what it's all about. And Sean the Sports Gone, which, by the way, Keith Larson said, Sean the Sports Gone has not been here.
She had a little more fire than Sean.
Yeah.
I said, that was
I don't
random.
think
That's a
Sean.
random
I don't
person
think.
we
I don't
met.
think Sean could match that. I honestly don't
She-
think
she-
so.
She brought the heat and the passion.
Yeah, she did.
And left the bitch.
Absolutely. So let's answer that question. Going back to Mike from Ocala, we didn't forget you here with all the commotion. Who do I think is first? I think, look, Bruce Arians most likely is going to win out. In the perfect world, Jameis will perform like I believe he's going to perform this year as a comeback player of the year, being under this offense and finally have a coaching staff that knows his strengths and weaknesses and is able to use those. If push comes to shove and Jameis struggles, then definitely this organization has an opportunity and has a decision to make. If it comes down to Arians and Winston, it's Arians at this point instead of Winston. They could also franchise him if they wanted to, or of course you could push the reset button, which you don't want to do if you're an organization because basically it puts you back 5 years. But it is a strong quarterback class with Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama and also Justin Herbert from Oregon, and also people forget about him, Jake Fromm from Georgia. Go ahead and comment on it.
With the QB class?
Yeah, just with the whole situation. I mean, do you think Jameis Winston will struggle in this offense because people are not talking about it? I do believe that they will go with Arians over Winston.
The Jameis Winston we wanted is the way he finished out the season.
Okay.
He took the ball down, threw it away, ran. I think he's figured it out. You can't win every battle. You got to take it how you can get it every week, from week to week, depending on what your matchups are.
Sure.
With QB class, all depend. QBs are only good in a system if you create a system that's successful for them. You can't force a square into a circle hole. You can't ask an apple to
You say that a lot.
Because
an apple and an orange.
Because it can't. It seems so
I'm getting
simple.
thirsty for orange juice or apple juice. Next time you say that, you better bring something.
I just won't bring veggies.
Oh, geez, please don't. Enough with you don't bring the veggies. No veggies at all in my eggs. None. I don't care. I've lost relationships over it.
Oh,
it's not happening.
Explains why he's single.
I'm absolutely scarred by it. Girl wanted to make me a breakfast and wanted to put veggies in my eggs, and I told her no, I'm not doing it. She said you're immature, and I said okay.
Just hot sauce, please.
You're an idiot. All right, so yeah, absolutely. So we'll stop talking about food here. By the way, great food at Ferg's. Wings, boneless chicken. I mean, everything they serve here. You've had the sandwiches before. You also had your adult beverage over there.
Yes.
Some, trivia nights and lots of bands. It's just a great
is
place.
Definitely trying to expand.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that
and
we're
it's
a part
home
of
the official
It's
watch parties for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road, on Bucks Report, on the Sports Web, Blake and Blake Sports. What other sports bar has this? None. We're doing it. We're thinking outside.
You definitely
of the
don't
box.
have me there or Peter.
That's it.
My better half. my Mel Gibson. I'm Danny Glover.
I'll take it. Oh, you're old. You're over the hill. All right, let's talk here more with Bucks Report here, as we are live on BucksReport.com. On other platforms, not only two Facebook sites, but also YouTube and also on Periscope on Twitter. So it's all out there. Let's see here. Who's going to lead the Bucks D with no GMC and JPP? I think
scary without Gerald.
I think it's Levante David. I definitely think, as surprising as it sounds, I think Devin White could be the leader of this defense, even in his rookie year, with all the reports coming out, with him making the calls. Does that mean he's the leader? I mean, you played football. Go ahead and talk about the prospect of a leadership on this team.
Say that leader word like it means something. You can be the leader of whatever you want. If you're giving up 29 points a game, what does that really mean? If your whole unit believes in each other and knows what their job and the responsibilities are, that's what I care about. I care about the continuity of the team. I care about the continuity of everybody doing their job, doing what they're supposed to, what they're asked to do. That's what I care about. I don't care about somebody being labeled a leader. So what? 29 points a game? What does somebody being labeled a leader really going to change anything?
If you're the leader of that defense, then I definitely want to be called a leader of that defense, because the leaders that were leading it weren't doing a good job of leading. How many times did I say leader and leading?
Leader.
Leading.
You said
leader?
Like 7 times.
Leader? Too late. I don't know. All right.
Leader.
You shut up. I mean, in Michigan, in Michigan get wiped off the map. I think they are the most overhyped program in college football.
Harbaugh. Well, that's what happens.
They get hyped up every year, get beat down by Ohio State, of course.
Games.
Yep.
I agree.
They don't have Urban Meyer anymore, and if Michigan loses to Ohio State this year, their coach will get fired. Jim Harbaugh, to me, is nothing but a khaki-wearing piece of, wow, Michael. He is good at picking his nose on the sidelines.
Wow.
Go Bucks. All right.
Wow.
Well, look, I think that some people believe that Harbaugh definitely is, on the hot seat, but it would seem to believe that Michigan would definitely have an advantage with Urban Meyer gone at Ohio State, right?
Yeah, the question is, where's Urban Meyer going next? Since he likes to play this, health issues every year.
His nickname is Urban Liar, so just saying.
Going from team to team, but he wins where he goes.
Yep.
Starting with Utah, all the way down to Florida, all the way to Ohio
He's
State.
won. I mean, you can't deny he won at Ohio State.
He got Alex Smith drafted #1 overall.
Sure.
So.
Hard thing to do. And I'll tell you what, Jim Harbaugh definitely developed him. I think Jim Harbaugh is a better NFL coach than a college coach.
So?
Yeah, I do. And
College
I think
is a little harder.
Yeah, well, it is because you got to be a recruiter.
Yeah.
And you got to be a recruiter. You have to do it every
get 'em
year.
for 4 years, 3 years most.
Right, and you have to worry about their personalities. Not that you have to do with the NFL, but NFL is a totally different animal. X's and O's guy. He's a player personnel guy, fine, but they're professionals. They know how to act. Basically, you have to be a mentor, a father figure. I don't see Jim Harbaugh being that type of coach.
For the most part, I think he's done fine. He just hasn't got the quarterback.
He just hasn't beaten Ohio State, and that's what it comes down to.
And they had a quarterback.
Right.
I mean, in college football, it's all about what a quarterback you got, and you only get him for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
You don't get him forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's see here. Let's read more. Devin White, next man up. Johnny also said 10-6 is his prediction, so he's going with me. All right. Japis Hook says, what's up? What's going on? Johnny says she lied. She did lie because she wanted to look good on camera. She does look good on camera, but she also wanted to say that she was a sports fan. I'm okay with that. It's okay to tell a little white lie if you're going to be a sports fan. Somebody says D-line. It's not fair for Tampa Bay sports team. The Rays are in the same division with the Yankees, Red Sox, and Blue Jays. The Bucks with the Saints, Falcons, and Panthers. Boston is one of the luckiest sports cities ever. Easiest 6 Super Bowls for any NFL team. Oh, come on now, Joshua. You still got to win in the
regular season. Yeah, definitely cupcake.
Right. You got to win in the playoffs. They've lost before, but what the Patriots have done, I get it, they're a Boston franchise, but what they have done, yes, it is a little bit beleaguered because you do have the cheating. There are doubts there, but at the end of the day, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick are definitely going to go down as one of the great 1-2 combos of all time, one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. One of the most boring Super Bowls you're ever going to watch last year. Hopefully it's better this year. Steve, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Japheth says I won. Johnny Dean, I meant the D-line. Japheth says it's my ticket. Yes, I did. He says it's his ticket. It's been 2,730 days since that team up north beat my Buckeyes. Michigan, home of the lowered expectations. A little Michigan-Ohio State talk here on the Sports Web, the evolution of Sports Talk Television, or Blake and Blake Sports, whatever you want to call it. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell. Here's the thing I think people are talking about, who they believe who is first to go. If this season doesn't go the way we think it will, I think the general manager's job should be in question. I mean, again, if you don't have Jason Light, you don't have an opportunity to get a Bruce Arians, right? So in that respect, and it's not like Jason Light has missed. He's gotten some picks right.
Right.
He's missed on some. We've talked about it, but he's hit on some. There still questions remain. I think it also goes back to coaching. This organization believes they have the talent going forward. What it comes down to is coaching. We're about to find out this year if this organization is right. Let's see here. Anthony says no matter the past seasons or have faith in the next. Sorry, guys, I meant the D-line. Okay, we got it, Steve. And I have faith in this year. All right, let's talk about what happened with and we'll get our fan on here who won the tickets. Want to get them on the mic as we were giving away Rays and Yankees. Do you have an update on that score with the Rays and Yankees game? Last time we checked, it was 1-0 Yankees over the Rays. Snell
tied up 1-1.
1-1. Bottom of the 7th. So there you go, a nip and tuck battle as it was last Mother's Day. Of course, they had the power outage, which kind of changed things a little bit. The wheels came off for the Rays bullpen, and, of course, they're coming off the loss from last night, where it's the first time they're not in first place, so hopefully they can get back into first place here and take this series, which they couldn't do last homestand. And, again, we're giving away free Rays and Yankees tickets here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell. Let's get to the Patrick Peterson deal, where he was actually suspended this week, surprisingly 6 games for PED. But this is what Pat Kerwin had to say about the possibility of Peterson getting traded to an NFL team. Here we go.
They could have made it a $10 million bonus, and that could have been spread out over the life of the contract. And also, that would have changed his salary to $1 million, and then he would have lost 6 game checks or $350,000. They didn't want to do it. Now, they love Patrick Peterson. We've been out there. We know how they feel. They're probably extremely disappointed. But when I hear that they won't do this, it makes me think more like they want to, if they want to trade him, they don't want to pay $10 million for a signing bonus now, which the new club won't have to see.
Yeah, they'd eat it. They'd have to eat it.
They'd have to eat it. So when I see them not doing something to benefit him, I'm wondering if the trade talks are alive. And then someone will say, well, why would you trade for a guy who can't play for 6 games? Because he's an all-pro. And you'd get him for 10 games. And a really good team that thinks we're a corner short, always love this guy, they might want to do that. But now they're going to have to pay the $11 million. And guess what? He's going to forfeit about $4 million in checks. So you're not going to pay $11 million. You're going to pay $7 million for 10 games. So when I see this, I'm more inclined, no information, no phone calls to find out if they're thinking, they're not going to tell you anyway. But when I hear this, I think, trade might still be a possibility.
All right, there you go. Welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television here live at Fergs on Central Avenue. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Cabell, Blake and Blake Sports, the Sports Web, whatever you want to call it. We're doing it here live at Fergs on this great Saturday afternoon, a great day to talk sports. We got a lot of fans in here giving away Raising Yankees. Now, going back to those comments, and that's in care of Pat Kerwin of Sirius NFL Radio, who has been, he's in NFL circles, been a scout before, he's been in the know. A lot was talked about with Patrick Peterson possibly making his way to Tampa in the offseason. Do you think there's a possibility that he could be traded after the fact of the 6-game suspension? And should the Bucs, if they can get the money situation taken care of, which is a big if at this point because you're still over the cap and you have 3 unsigned draft picks. So let's say you take care of that. Is Peterson a player that the Bucs should focus on at this juncture?
Well, he's drafted 6 defensive backs within the past 2 drafts. So picking up Patrick Peterson would be an overkill.
Right. Well, he's all pro. I mean, this is a guy that could replace Vernon Hargreaves. I mean, I think he could teach Vernon Hargreaves something. I think he could teach Carlton Davis.
Defensive back?
I mean, you could get rid of Ryan Smith that's on this team that hasn't necessarily worked out. That's $2 million.
Ryan Smith isn't part of the 6 defensive backs you just drafted the past 2 seasons.
Well, I mean, they've drafted 9 defensive players in the secondary but there is, some thought process that they're not necessarily happy with what they have, right?
Right.
So you get a Peterson at a discounted rate, albeit when you take care of that salary, what do you give up? I'm not sure. I don't think the value is that strong now because of the suspension and because you're going to be able to get it. Do you take a chance on Patrick Peterson after the suspension? Because to me, I think you have to, if the price is right, and I sound like Bob Barker over here, if you can take care of that and what the value you give
Drew
up.
Carey.
Right, Drew Carey, Bob Barker. I'm old enough to, watch The Price is Right with Bob Barker. All right, whatever. Shut up. All right, so Peterson, he solidifies the secondary in my opinion, right?
It's no telling. I mean, he solidified it for years with Bowles and Arians in his younger years. He hasn't really been a shutdown like he used to be.
Last couple years, is that because the defense around him is not good? Maybe he feels better under.
If you say that, couldn't you say the same thing about McCoy? But I'm not going to get into that.
Okay, all right.
Right. If you want to defend Peterson, but you won't defend McCoy.
Well, I'm defending McCoy. I've said he's a good player. He's not a great player. Is he worth $13 million?
Pat Peterson as well, because he's getting paid pretty high too.
I think he's got a little bit more left in the tank than McCoy. Plus, if he comes in here, you can get him at a good value. You don't have to pay that much. And then he teaches Vernon Hargreaves, he teaches Carlton Davis and Jamal Dean, and also Sean Bunting how to be professionals.
I think we're just focusing way too much on what we don't need to be focused on. We are thin at the pass rush department.
I agree.
We are thin at the pass rush department. Oh, did I say that twice?
Yes.
We are thin there. It don't matter who you have a DB if you don't have nobody rushing the passer.
Well, what if you have Shaq Barrett and Anthony Nelson and Noah Spence and they work in the defense?
Goes down, then who?
Well, why do you just knock on wood when you say that?
No, it's not knock on wood. They can't play.
Knock on wood.
They can't play every snap.
Well, I agree with you, but that's why you have a Shaq Barrett. That's why you have Carl Nassib.
They'll be starting at the same time.
Right.
So who's behind them?
Well,
you don't know.
Well, that's the question.
That's okay.
That's the question.
You don't know.
Right.
That's
a fair question.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your boy William Golston.
Oh, yeah, okay. The Ghost?
No.
What's that old cartoon? Space Ghost? When he would disappear? Space Ghost.
You're so
Yeah,
funny.
okay. We're going to rely on $5 million a year, but let's not get rid of him to save cap space. He produced 1 sack in 3 seasons. We'll keep him
good stuff.
because he's productive.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. All right. So there's a differing of opinion. Dejon Buchanan came out after Skip Bayless said in so many words he was disappointed by Peterson. You just never know. He's supposed to be professional and he's not coming off. I'm paraphrasing at this point. He did this on one of the Fox Sports 1 shows. Dejon Buchanan said, you don't know the situation. You don't know what's going on. Players can get popped for having too much coffee. True or false? Can you get popped for having too much coffee in the NFL?
What the hell
or
are
is
you
this
putting in your coffee?
well, is this a P? To me, this is a PED suspension. This is a
Yeah, it's a
classic
PED,
case
yeah.
of a player getting up there in
Remember
age.
Quan said he got suspended for something he was drinking
Right.
since he was in college.
Right. We still don't know what he was drinking.
I still believe that because, I mean...
Hopefully he's not
obviously-
drinking what you were drinking.
No, definitely not. He wouldn't get fined for suspended for that, definitely. But I mean, Quan, obviously there wasn't nothing to make him bigger, faster, or stronger. He still
Yes.
missed tackles. He didn't get any bigger in size or didn't get any faster. He was what he was the whole time he's here. So I mean, I tend to believe he had no reason to lie about it.
Sure.
Just probably the first time he got tested for it and got popped. So I mean,
Sure. Well, I mean, it's a good point. So we'll see how that turns out. But Dejon Buchanan basically defending, and you got you got your little dogs here coming by. Sometimes they're little hot dogs. Yeah, it's funny. Hot dog. Got another question here for you. Michael says on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers schedule, they have a lot of games. They're going to be complicated at the same time. What game do you think is going to be the biggest game on the schedule? What game do you think they were going to win, or maybe going to win that they're not expecting to win? I'm not going to say that against the Indianapolis Colts. That's a good question again, Michael. Michael bringing it today here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Look, it's for me. You got to get off to a good start. It's tough with the 49ers coming in. You're not sure if Garoppolo is going to be healthy. I think always the division games with the Panthers.
you don't know with those.
You don't know, and then the Saints. But it's a gauntlet. From week 3 to week 10, you have to go on the road. You have to travel. You go to the LA Rams. You're playing the Saints on the road. You're playing Tennessee on the road. You're playing Seattle on the road. It's tough. So they got to be mentally tough, and I think that Bruce Arians is going to get a tool this year to basically use and see where his team is at. What are your comments on it? It's tough to say what game is.
Yeah, right now it's tough to say because you don't know. We ain't even gone through preseason yet to see if anybody's got hurt or a mandatory camp. A lot of people get injured and stuff happens. It's way too early to say any of that. But I'm really interested to watch the Jacksonville game with that beast of a defense they got and career pass rusher and Josh Allen that they didn't believe that would be there, that pick. So I'm looking forward to seeing that game. I'll be there live for that one.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that, and I'm just looking at the live chat here, seeing if there's any comments from anybody else. So I think we're good on that. We'll read more comments here from Buck Support as we're live here at Ferg's, 1320 Central Avenue. Of course, if we failed to mention, Sam Ash, the official sponsor of the Sports Web, Blake & Blake Sports, and of course, Bucks Report, 923 McMullen Booth Road for all your musical needs, 95 years. Ultimate logo, which is out in Dunedin, 1812 Main Street. If you want to get a Bucks Report logo, Bucks Report polo, definitely go out and tell them we sent you there. And of course, Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill, been around since 1992. Any update on that Yankee Rays game right now? You said 1-1 there.
It was tied up.
Still 1-1.
Let's find out.
And let's read the comments here.
Yep, still 1-1.
Still 1-1. Trade is a strong possibility. That is from the professor himself, Johnny Dean. Falcons games should be telling games. They have had their number lately, and I don't believe they've won in Atlanta since 2016. Is that
Freeman
correct?
ain't going to be happy with Cutter as the O coordinator because he ain't running the ball.
No. 42 interceptions in 3 years for Matt Ryan. You think that's going to work out when you have no running game? We'll see. Somebody says Peter's old. You're only as old as you feel, Mr. Professor there. I do have some gray hair, but I'm not that old. I'm still alive here, kicking on a Saturday afternoon. It's a great day. It's not too hot, and even we got a little shade here, so it's kind of cool. We're just sitting here at the bar on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Johnny says, Blake, we have 11 defensive linemen on the current roster, so he's calling you out right now.
You can have 100. I mean, are those guys going to put in any work?
What do you think of Anthony Nelson? You like Anthony Nelson because you hear reports, and then, as we talked about, Joshua, the intern, says that Carl Nassib, he's traveled so far to finally get on the NFL roster, finally came to fruition last year with 6.5 sacks for the Bucs from the Browns.
I believe I was on the back of a lot of Vita Vea because they played on the same side.
Sure. People don't even talk about Vita Vea. We haven't even talked about Vita Vea.
Because a lot of fans, I don't want to use the word stupid. I want to use the word ill-advised. That's the word I'm going to use because the way they measure up sacks, and that's good. I'm glad we brought this up because it brings me up to something else I did some homework on.
Sure, go do some homework.
The only thing they look at is, he only had this many sacks. I'm like, what? So how many sacks did he set somebody else up for? Mm-hmm. Does that mean because he doesn't have double-digit sacks, he didn't do anything? No.
Right.
How many stops did he have in run support when they try to run in this gap? I mean, those you don't look at those. Literally, the only stat everybody looks at is sacks, and that's really you got to stop doing that, man.
Yeah. Well,
seriously,
you got to look at not only sacks but pressures. But at
pressure
the end,
is not even that. Just run support. There's run plays too.
Sure.
Believe it or not, there's run plays.
Sure.
And did you?
It's a good point.
Yeah, and then people make tackles in the backfield because you're getting double team or you beat a double team and made a stop at the line of scrimmage or the backfield.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because I looked at Gerald McCoy in 2014. That man, I literally watched, he should have had at least 15 sacks that season. And the reason because of that, he didn't have that because while he was sacking them, they're throwing it away or throwing it at somebody's feet as they're falling to the ground.
Yeah.
So the reason I brought that up earlier is because that's a stat that's untold that he should have had a sack. Because that's literally the only thing everybody's looking at is Gerald McCoy only having six sacks last season, or his total, his most out of his career is 9.5. And you're honest, if you go look at it. If you don't believe me, go look at it yourself. 2014 Gerald McCoy highlights. There's about at least 7 of those that he should have had sacks that they threw away as they're falling to the ground. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you can't just look at one base number and just say that that's the whole source of your career summed up in a 3-minute highlight film.
I got you. Okay. All right. I think Michael says I think a lot of these players that have been drafted in the past couple of years on the defense side of the ball, most of these players they brought in just brought them in to do for this year. That's why they didn't sign a lot of these players to big contracts.
To get with the money we have.
Right. One, because they don't have a lot of money.
There you go.
And then they're putting a Band-Aid on it for now. They're going to look to sign some big free agents next year. But again, yeah, you could look to sign free agents. But again, when it comes down to building your team is the draft. You have, and that probably is one of the biggest indictments with Jason Licht. He's hit some guys. He's missed some guys. The position that he's missed, he's tried to fill that in free agency. Right, it hasn't worked. So, take it for what it is, and it's a big year for Jason Licht as well as this organization, Bruce Arians, and also Jameis Winston. Everybody is under the gun this year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we'll have it all for you here with our watch parties here, and I'll definitely have it here for you on Saturdays live at Ferg's 1320 Central Avenue in St. Pete. Again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell, Blake and Blake Sports here live on the Sports Web. Now, I think the thing that can hurt us is maybe ruining a good season for us or for the Bucs is having 6 straight games away from Raymond James Stadium. I think that could be a big problem. Yeah, whole October. Having Bruce Arians give more optimistic about this football team. If Dirk Cutter were there, the coach, we would be in trouble. I think you feel better about the situation because of the coaching staff being in place. And again, as I said before, you're going to really see what the mental capabilities of this team going forward with the challenges that they faced before the season. I think it's good. GMAC has the 3rd most sacks of all DTs since coming into the league.
It's only a couple ahead of him.
Not bad for a position that isn't predicated on sacking the quarterback.
And the quality of players he's had around him. You still produce 54.5 sacks?
It's a fair point.
With garbage around you your entire career? I mean, I hate to call another grown man garbage, but
Right.
it's just that he hasn't had nothing his entire career.
Right.
Now, if you want to talk about the guys in front of him, which are J.J. Watt, Geno Atkins, I could name for days all the players that they had around them.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were
I
all
would just say J. Watt have around him.
Oh, where should I start?
Clowney.
Davian Clowney, Vince Wilfork.
Oh, he's been able to stay healthy all the time. I'm just joking.
Yeah, see, they've never gone without anybody.
Right.
And Aaron Donald never gone without a double-digit sack defensive end his entire career.
Yeah.
Entire career. As a matter of fact, Robert Quinn led the league in sacks
Yeah.
the year before Aaron Donald was drafted.
Yeah.
So you already had a double-digit sack leader before you drafted.
It's a great point, and right now what you're watching, I'm just watching the bike riders go by. Hopefully they'll hit the camera. We're live at Ferg's on Central Avenue on the Sports Web, the evolution of sports talk television. Light drafts, offensive players well, but not much with the defensive players. Agree? Quan was okay with where he got him. Kendall Beckwith remains to be seen. He had some
Plays well
potential.
since he's been in.
Right.
But
Noah Spence.
He had that good first year. That was it after that.
Yeah, it's a good. Biggest question is who will back up Vay in
Thank
the
you.
rotation. Bo Allen.
Bo Allen.
Everybody forgets about Bo Allen.
That's a huge drop off in Vay to Bo Allen. That's a huge. That's my point. I was trying to tell you.
You
earlier.
sound so positive.
I'm being honest. I look at
Okay.
tape. He
All
gets
right.
moved.
Okay.
He's not. He's like I said. If you double Vay, you're not going to move him off his spot.
Well, what about Terry Beckner Jr.? What about him being a seventh-round pick?
Hasn't done anything yet. So I don't really have an opinion on somebody that hasn't played yet.
Okay.
Down in the NFL.
That's fair.
yeah.
That's a fair point. Okay. All right. So also, again, update the score here with the Rays and the Yankees 1-1. Brandon Lau with a home run. So we'll try to keep you abreast of that situation. But, like I said, we talked about Peterson and JPP and all the stories coming out. But, Carl Nassib on this team. I mean, there's some
glad he's
positives.
here. He's
I am
playing with
too.
a chip on his shoulder.
Right, definitely.
My question is behind them. There's, like you said, you already see JPP them go down, and then we don't have nothing left because we didn't invest in it. We invest in DBs.
Yeah, and just going back here, looking Eugene Thomas here of Buck, what you heard. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? And he says, what's up here? We're here every Saturday, live at Ferg's, starting at 1 o'clock. We wanted to start at noon today. We started a little bit early because the Rays game came on. We'll probably have Tampa Ray Kennedy. Live TV, you got to love it. So there you go. Here on the Sports Web, the evolution of sports talk television. That's the time where you got to get on that mic and take it from me if you see me. But yeah,
this is the Sports
I'm gonna
Web.
sneeze right on you right now. Let's see here. I hear a lot of guys. I hear a lot of. I don't know what that's all about. I hear a lot of ear. I don't know. It's just guys right now, like you said. Some of these guys are not. They're not proven.
Oh,
I mean, that's just not proven, yeah. Let's see here. Michael says, I really do believe that G-Mac should stay in Tampa, especially if Jason Pierre-Paul doesn't come back off his neck injury.
You're killing yourself.
Then they can easily find a way to pay Gerald, maybe not $13 million, but at least
paid. It's keep it.
Well, I mean, if you keep Gerald McCoy, then it comes to the situation, who are you going to get rid of? Are you ready to William Golston, Ryan Smith, Evan Smith, Caleb Benina?
I think I put that out earlier.
Well, go ahead and put it out there again. Tell me the
It's that
solution.
scenario. It's Ryan Smith. It has to be William Golston.
Right.
I think it's either Noah Spence or it's one of them other ones to fill the cap space for Gerald McCoy.
Okay.
Because if you get rid of Gerald McCoy, we're basically shooting ourselves in the foot as long as that defensive line, especially with Jason Pierre-Paul out for 5 months or maybe longer. Is we didn't invest in any defensive line draft picks except for the undrafted players and the boy out of Missouri
Sure.
and the other kid. I always keep.
And I think there's a possibility that if you can get some money up, maybe you go into the second wave of free agency, get a Muhammad Wilkerson. That's why I say you cut and McCoy. I don't think he wants to be here. Now there was a story that came out. I think it was it's social media, Instagram. His wife is saying,
Why would he want to be here?
Right. Oh, does he really want to be here? And she's saying, why would he want to be here?
She tagged her husband in that. She said,
So
she said media.
happy wife, happy life. we got to take it from there. If his wife is saying, oh, just really wants to be here, maybe he doesn't want to be here after all. That's why he's making the big time stink. And look, again, we've talked about it. Arians has called him out. He's not a person that necessarily likes that. Right?
Well, not that. He's given everything he's got to this team. He's been dedicated.
He needs to get more. Because you could talk about players not being around him, but you could also talk about if he's a great player, then he'll make players around him better.
The only one that's produced on his roster.
He's a 6.5 sack guy making $13 million on a decline.
He's a defensive tackle.
Now you sneezed.
Yeah, he's a defensive tackle. He's never had double-digit sacks when you gave him the contract.
Let's talk to Eugene here. Hard to know what you have with the coaching, bad or the players. Got to wait and see. It's all talk until the regular season starts. Noah Spence won't be leaving yet. They are hoping he will be an edge guy. That's been a question, Noah Spence, the disappearance. And I've said he's a man on a milk carton, and I don't mean to make light of it, but he has been,
he hasn't played much.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
Why?
I talked to Noah via IG, and I asked him. I said, "What do you like better, the standing rushing or the hand in the dirt?" He said it quickly, "I like standing and rushing." And I asked him, I said, "So why would Mike Smith wouldn't want to rush you to your better strengths instead of what's your weakness at?" Of course, he did the right thing and answered that properly. He said, "I don't know what Mike Smith was thinking." That is the right answer.
Okay,
but, yeah.
Right. So, and then I go back to Levante David's comments of, I can only control what I control. I'm going to be out here no matter how the organization treats me.
That's all you can do.
He was asked about it. I think he's looking at it from the better standpoint. And how you doing? We're live here at Fergs on Bucks Report, bucksreport.com. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell. I think he handled it the right way when he was asked about it, and that's the way you have to handle and go about your business. I do not think Gerald McCoy wants to be here, and I think what it comes down to is figuring out what are you going to do with the $13 million. If you can alleviate that $13 million or get a team like the Cleveland Browns, or there's a team that has an injury where you get to trade him and you at least get something for him, then you do the deal.
Just handled this situation wrong.
Right. Let's see here. D-line players take a year or so to develop. Even premier ones agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But you never know. You get your special cases.
Bradley Chubb, double-digit.
Well, I asked Bosa too. Joey Bosa. Right?
Because they were plugged into systems that were already flourishing. Because you have
bingo. But if you put him in a system where you can be basically used to his best talents, aka a Todd Bowles system, then I definitely think. You're looking at it from the stand. Everybody's looking at, well, you got young players and this and that, and the sky's falling. It's like, come on. Like, just let it play out. See what happens. But I think you're better off with the coaching here because you have a plan. You have proven commodities. You haven't had that the last couple of years in a long time. I think that's fair. So, let's see here. I've got Michael once again commenting, and then we'll wrap this up. Want to definitely say, some things about Steve Dumig, in case you didn't catch it. I don't know if you ever listen to sports radio here with.
Yeah, in passing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Here's the thing I have to ask you, Peter. If Gerald McCoy really didn't want to be back, then what is he waiting on? He could easily say, I'm done, not playing for the Bucks anymore.
That's not who Gerald is.
Could sit out the rest of the year, possibly wait next year, or just sit out and wait to the Bucks either cut me or trade me, because here's the thing, I don't think there's no other place that Gerald McCoy is going to fit in right away besides Tampa Bay.
I doubt that.
You could argue Cleveland, but then in Cleveland pretty much is not the answer. I don't believe the Buccaneers are the best. I don't believe there's a team that's fit for him. So if he calls it quits, wait until. Now, and see, I think there's other teams out there. And I think that's what Jared wants. He wants the Bucks to basically, he's playing chicken. He wants them to cut him, let him go, because if he wanted to take less money, he would want to be here.
Why would you want to be somewhere that you know it's already going to be unsuccessful?
Because I don't necessarily think they're going to be that unsuccessful. In fact, I think for the first time, Gerald can go back and say you finally have the coaching in Todd Bowles.
Well, you can say you have the coaching, but you still don't have the players. So let's be for the
make the players better.
For the 10th season, you have yet to put quality depth around this man.
Right.
I said, well, finally with Jason Pierre, the trade of Jason Pierre-Paul, we finally reached double-digit sacks out of anybody on the defensive line. That's why I always back Gerald, because of that we've neglected this defensive line for too long. And I said we relied on Gerald McCoy to do everything.
Sure.
That's not what a defensive tackle's job is.
Sure.
Say what you want about him helping players up. There's plenty of other players that do it too.
Well, it's just, for me, it's just the optics of him talking every year, saying he's going to do this, saying he's going to do. Way too sensitive.
Too sensitive.
Take the challenge. It's your job.
I'm just talking about the team
right.
as a whole, and he's led on to be the only reason why we're not successful at pass rushing. Defensive tackle's job isn't to do all that. It's your defensive end job, and we've yet passed on another career pass rushers in this draft. We did it again to get
Josh Allen.
We did it again to go get defensive backs. So,
well,
we are stuck talking about the defensive line.
Right. Well, they like what they have.
Okay.
And we'll see if it works out, and if it doesn't, I still think the roster is fluid, and they can go out and maybe get somebody that can come off. Look, you know, for me, they went out and got Carl Nassib later on in free agency. He turned out okay.
Got
so
lucky with that.
Well,
come
come on. You got to give Jason Light some credit. Maybe he can go out.
Giving him credit. I said you got lucky.
I don't think you got lucky. I think he knew that Carl Nassib. I think he can.
I was a fan of the guy.
Why not? And then you have Bruce Arians being your other eyes. Yep. So you're better off, right? Okay, then. There you go.
Hopefully he can add on to what he did last year.
We're live at Fergs on Central Avenue, 1320 Central Avenue in St. Pete. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell of Blake & Blake Sports, the Sports Web. You know, the evolution of sports talk television, getting some fans' responses, and then we'll wrap it up for a great day here, as always, here on every Saturday. You going to be here on Saturday? Next Saturday? Yeah? Okay. All right, we got people walking down the street here. Just to update the score on that Rays-Yankee game, it looks like it's still 1-1. Brandon Lau with a home run. Snell was pitching versus Tanaka. We gave away some Yankee and Rays tickets. We're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're talking about NBA, which was great with the doctor before. So it's all out there on the table. That's what we do here. William says, what do you think about the impending uniform change? Are you for or against it? I like to see something closer to the originals. Would the originals be the creamsicle, which is what you're wearing? Look,
I don't care.
I like the creamsicle color. I don't like the wincing pirate. It's not a big deal. I think people make so much of a big deal about the uniforms. Really what it comes down to is if they start winning, nobody gives a crap.
Nope.
Are the uniforms not the greatest? Maybe. Maybe you don't necessarily like the numbers, but it's a uniform. I think they should have stuck with the Super Bowl uniforms. But, you know, for me, they could go with the color rush. I like the color rush uniforms.
It's not bad.
Right, all red, or you could go with red and pewter pants if you wanted to. It's the whole uniform change. It's just.
I don't care
it's
about
just.
that. I care about winning.
Who cares? So, you know, if they win, they win. But I get it. There's some fans out there who care about it. So, cool. But, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. Somebody says creamsicle for life. It's a nice orange. I just don't necessarily like the winking pirate. That's what. Nah, the bucko. Nah, I don't like it. All right, just like I don't like vegetables, I don't like you right now.
No.
I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Cabell. Would you shut up? It's all about timing. GMAC has had an uncanny ability to have most of his sacks do nothing for changing the momentum in a favor. They tend to come on first and second downs. You can count on one hand. I did. You definitely can look at some points. I mean, I always ask people this with talking about Gerald McCoy. When has he made a big play in the fourth quarter for this defense?
When has anybody made a big play in the fourth
quarter?
No.
That's not the question. Don't avoid it. Tell me. Okay. So then tell me, when has he made a big play in the fourth quarter to win game?
To be honest, I wasn't really paying attention.
When has he made a signature play?
I have to look at some tape to say that this one play was an intricate part in the game. You could go through any team and say that about any superstar. I mean, why you just decided to pick on Gerald McCoy on a lackluster support system that he's had for 9 years? I'm like, why you decided to just pick McCoy? Like I said, Sue was on the most productive defensive line in the league and had 4 sacks. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean?
Good point. All right, let's see here. Let's not just say it's not the players that you have in place. It's the coaching staff could not coach the players in the right positions in order to win games because the team is talented enough to win games. There were so many games where they were competitive. It's just when you have a coach that could not manage a game, you're not going to win many games.
Never been head coach to begin with.
Well, you are so angry today. You're like the angry Blake.
Been head coach.
Angry Blake today.
You should have let him go on to the Philadelphia Eagles, and he should have rode on with
And
Lovie
I think
Smith.
he was going to go with San Francisco, the 49ers or the Dolphins.
Lovie Smith.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says in there. This man was not given a fair chance.
He was 8-24.
He was never given a fair chance. He said before
He came over here to rebuild a defense, and he failed.
No, he didn't. He said it took 3 years. He said this team is not a Super Bowl winning team. It's going to take 3 years to get this team on a winning track. Lo and behold, what was their record the third year? Let me hear it.
6-10.
No, they weren't. They were 9-7.
Well, 9-7 for 2016.
Yeah, and that was Dirk Cutter taking up on what Lovie Smith
And Mike
had
Smith,
built.
you got to give credit to Mike Smith that year because he got an extension.
And then you went on the Cutter's reign,
Right.
and then
Right.
went down in the toilet.
Right.
And then Lovie Smith took over with a trash roster, and then Cutter has all the tools that you need to succeed and cannot deliver. Could not deliver, couldn't manage a team, couldn't do nothing. So was Cutter really an upgrade? Really? You can say whatever you want about the 8 wins with
Right.
Smith. You know as well as I do that team was horrible. Those first 2 years Lovie Smith was here.
Well, look, they went
horrible.
they went 6-10. I think if
Horrible.
Quan Alexander doesn't miss those 4 games, you at least win 2 of those games, right? So you go 8-8. Most likely that could save the job. I thought that the year that Winston was in the league, his first year, they went 6-10.
He played
You
well.
lose
He
Quan
played well
Ale-
at the
played very
beginning.
well. Why? Because he had a running game. So people got locked in. They say, okay,
And then
he had a running
Doug
game,
Martin
and then
got away.
Doug
started
Martin,
with his
and
crap.
then Dirk Cutter changed his offense. I mean, there's so many things. You could go back and forth. I
everybody
get
puts
it.
on Lovie Smith like he was just this horrible person. He wasn't. Levante David thought it was a bad idea. And I've never seen him on social media say anything
Yeah.
until that. You fired. I've had 3 coaches in 4 years. I think that's what he said.
Yep.
Yep.
There you
3
go.
coaches
Appreciate
in
it.
4 years.
Yeah, I mean, look, and to me, Lovey, his indictment was, they had the defense playing well, and then he switches out, and he's the defensive coordinator instead of Leslie Frazier. To me, that's desperation because that is what exactly Dirk Cutter did. He changed from
Monken.
Todd Monken and became the offensive
And he said
coordinator.
it's for personal reasons. Yeah, it was
Well, personal reasons.
So you could get a job when you got fired as a head coach, and that's ultimately what you did. You went to Atlanta and got a job so you could take credit for the successful offense that was ran. That was all that was a gimmick.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're about to wrap it up here. Johnny says not the ketchup uniform, so patch up the eye. Matthew says never. And somebody says you just gave up when I was calling you out on the McCoy stuff. You just gave up. Roderick's like he gave up.
Oh, McCoy, what?
What I was saying. What did the McCoy?
I can't. I have to actually look at a game. I don't think he could pull up and say what game he didn't or didn't.
That's
do.
the point. There is none. There's not really a moment where Gerald McCoy's been signature in the fourth quarter. Everybody's getting up and bar. Oh, you get rid of Gerald McCoy. You get rid of Quan Alexander. You have one of the worst defenses the last 5 years. Go. Get out of here. See ya. McCoy's a good player. He's not worth the $13 million.
Only reason I'm saying to keep him is because we didn't do anything to add to the defensive line. Had we did that, I wouldn't be arguing.
And I tell you right
We didn't
now,
do anything.
if he would have taken less money and probably helped out the organization would be better off, right? There you
That's
go.
on them, mismanaging, overpaying people.
All right, it's getting passionate here. We have 3
get out
things
here.
we say. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Lovey never turned around a pro or college team ever. He's referring, he had some winning years with the
he
Bears.
Coach college till
Right.
now, and he took over
Illinois.
If that's really,
Illinois is terrible.
If that's really what you're trying to base
And he looks like old man Winter with that beard.
Really what you're trying to staple your
Right.
base of your foundation, that's pretty bad because the Illinois team was non-existent. People didn't even realize they still even had a program. And not only he got an extension with that team because now he's getting recruits in.
Sure.
And they're not doing that bad. The Illinois teams, they were never good when he got there.
Yeah.
So it's not like he took over a winning program and just turn them around to win. And college is a little bit different than the NFL.
All right, so I want to definitely wrap this up here. Again, a somber moment a couple days ago with losing a true radio icon and Steve Dumick. I told this story. I want to tell it again, and get you guys out there to really think about this. Getting the opportunity to do Radio Row, doing a show on 1010 AM called The Front Row with Spike on the mic, Spike Slater. Getting the opportunity to meet him. It's just an unbelievable thrill because he was definitely one of the guys I looked up to. A lot of the reason why I got into sports talk radio. As my dad always said, do your research. The one advice he gave me is, do your research. But before this whole interaction, you got to think about what I was thinking about at the time. You're meeting your mentor, and you think that he's going to be a hard ass because his persona on radio was that. He hung up on people, called him an idiot, said bull spit. He was awesome about that, but that was just shtick. They really didn't see the real Steve Dumick. And, just meeting him down in Miami at first, and he said, and I'll never forget it to this day, you're the SOB, you're the son of a bitch that's taking away from my ratings. And that's a mentor that you looked up to saying that, and just getting advice and picking his brain and saying, you're the dean of sports talk radio for 25 years. He really made an event. At 3 o'clock, if the Bucks lost or the Lightning had a rough game, the monologues were so classic. I always think about, starting off a show. He knew how to start off a show. He knew how to set the table. And once you set the table, then everybody can sit down and eat. And that's what he did to the best of it. And he gave me some great advice. You don't always know what you know. And if you do think that you know everything, make sure you do your research, because there's always going to be somebody that is going to call you out. So he was a true professional. My condolences are to his family, of course, to 95.3, FM 95.3 and 620 WDAE AM. You guys did a great job in saluting him, and my prayers are with his family. So definitely RIP, Big Dog. Any thoughts?
Oh, you said it well, man. It's just
Thank you.
Sad to see legends go.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we ever go out on our own terms, but when you lose a battle,
cancer is
sad.
Losing him to the same type of cancer my father had, brain cancer. You gotta find a cure for this disease. You really do. We're losing too many people. I've lost 2 grandmas. I've lost a father to cancer. So it's definitely a tough thing. So we definitely got to find a cure for it. But again, thanks for the memories, and I know that a lot of sports talk, radio fans out there definitely appreciate his work. So on that note, let's end it here on the Sports Web. For Blake Cabell, I'm your host, Peter Blake. And in the great words of the big dog, Steve Dumick, see ya.